I'm really glad you're here. Thank you so much for coming. I'm Jami Lin, and today we're going to learn about Feng Shui for 2015. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you will by the time you leave today, that your Feng Shui changes every year. And it's really important to know how to do that, because then you're setting the energy for the whole year. And right now is the time, perfect time to be here, because it's Chinese New Year on the new moon, which is 2 days from now. So happy Chinese New Year, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for coming. You're probably wondering why I am holding this toy. This is my favorite Feng Shui toy. And we're going to be using it in the presentation because you're going to start understanding how Feng Shui is layered, just like this toy. And by the way, this toy happens to be based upon Fibonacci mathematics. For those of you who gave it to your kids and didn't know that, I happen to be a student of mathematics, which I totally love, the sacred geometry, because it is in everything. So what are we going to do today? What are you going to leave with today? Two very important things. You're going to leave with what are your best directions to sleep and to face. How about that? You're also going to leave with, did we discuss that I have ADD? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. See, this is what happens.
What are your directions? Just
thank you. Yay! Yay, we have a hero. Everybody's listening. Thank you, Susan. Okay, we're going to learn about your best directions, which way, the best way to sleep and to face. This is your universal direction. And we're going to learn, I'm going to give you 9 Feng Shui remedies for every sector in your house to enhance 2015. How does that sound?
Awesome.
So who the heck am I? Who the heck am I to be able to stand up here and talk to you that way? Well, my name is Jami Lin. How I started with this whole process was I am an interior designer. I have designed over 1 million square feet of space. And from there, I learned about Feng Shui. I wanted to integrate my day job with my 9 interests, which was spirituality. And subsequently, the more I know about Feng Shui, the less it has to do with spirituality. Not that that's not a great thing. And consciousness, of course, that's a great thing. I work on that every day. But according to Feng Shui, real Feng Shui is based upon mathematics and science and the relationship between heaven and earth. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in a second. Just to give you a few testimonials, just to give you an idea of who I am a little bit, I am so honored because Stephen Skinner, who happens to be one of my Feng Shui gurus, his first book came out in like 1970 or something, wrote a Feng Shui book called Feng Shui History. Listen to this. The story of classical Chinese Feng Shui from 221 BC to 2012 AD, and I am mentioned in this book. So I am very proud of it. My first book, Feng Shui Today, was recognized by Deepak Chopra, which I'm very proud of, in the Feng Shui Warehouse. And my third book, my second book, which I have it's on video now. I mean, it's on DVD now. I don't have it in paper anymore. It's an anthology based upon 40 Feng Shui experts I've had put together. My third book is on Feng Shui and aromatherapy for my beloved aromatherapist in there. And when my husband and I moved to Venice, we said, oh, of course, we are going to do Feng Shui, build the entire house on Feng Shui. And we are going to talk about your personal success map today. That's one of the layers of this Fibonacci toy. And for those of you who have never seen my house, I know Tina's been there, it's round and over 5,000 square feet. And it's all based upon Feng Shui and sacred geometry, and it happens to be online so you can get an idea. And there's even a video where I'm explaining the Feng Shui of the house, which is pretty cool. Okay, yeah?
Is it on Genshin?
No.
Oh,
No.
There's a roundhouse there.
No, it is not. No, it's not. So thank you for asking. What I would love y'all to do, if we could, we're going to have a question and answer period afterwards, and that way I can fast track and we'll get to it. Okay, how does real Feng Shui work? Let's just, okay, am I wonderful? Okay, yeah, okay. Let's learn some Feng Shui now. Oh, I'm hot. And you know what? You can always use your personal success map as a fan. If you don't know what else to do with that. Okay, real Feng Shui happens to be what I like to call the man sandwich. And real Feng Shui, for those of you who know a little bit about Feng Shui, how many of you know a little bit? Okay, well, whatever you know, I'd like you to forget. Because what happens is there's so much information that's out there that suggests there is one Feng Shui map that is universal to everybody's home. Well, how can that be? A house with a Western, and I'm gonna dismiss that misnomer right here, right now, and it's so simple and so logical. Feng Shui is science, I said it, I'm gonna say it again, and it's all based upon the relationship between heaven and earth according to logic. There's no hokey-mokey stuff about it. There is some mystical stuff about it, but you know what? If you play by the rules and you're tracking the energies that exist, you don't even need to use the mystical stuff. I've been practicing Feng Shui for over 35 years. Look at his face. You would never know it, right? Okay. Just got to put a plug in for my skincare line. Okay. So, having said that, there is over 2,024 Bagua maps, and only one is specific to you and your home. What is a Bagua map? A Bagua map means 8-sided, and there's 8 energies that go around in your home. You segment your house into 9 sectors, and each of the 8 sectors around the perimeter are according to compass direction. I didn't know I was going to talk about that, but I just did. Is that clear?
No.
If you take your house floor plan and you put a big tic-tac-toe board on it, you've got a center section, right? And you've got 8 other squares around the center hub. I like to call it the heart center.
Okay.
And of those 8 squares around the perimeter, they all relate to compass direction. So when we talk about there's over 2,000 Bagua maps, and only one is significant to you and your home, hold that thought. I lost my train. It happens.
So the 8 squares going around.
Yes, God, I love the listeners. The 8 squares going around. Oh, I remember. Thank you. And the reason why there's over I know my stuff. I just get stuck. The reason why there's over 2,000 and not one, it's very simple. Because if your house faced east, isn't it going to be hot in the morning? And if your house faced west, wouldn't your house be hot in the afternoon? Logic and science. That will never change. It's always going to be that way. So there's over 2,000 different variables to make your house unique. The same way all of our DNA is kind of similar, but it makes us all unique. So this is kind of like the DNA of your house, and this is how it works. The first layer, here's our toy. The first layer includes several different aspects. And we're going to talk about one today, your best directions. And I like to call this layer your personal success map, which includes the man sandwich. I'm going to make it real easy, the man sandwich. We're watching the stars go around according to seasons, right? That layer of Feng Shui is called the flying stars. We're going to talk about that a little bit when we talk about the yearly energies. Now we're talking about the personal success map, your natal energies. The energies that were in the same place in heaven when you moved into your house. Kind of like astrology. Y'all know how astrology? When you were born, all the planets were in a certain alignment, and that is your astrology. That is the flying stars. And then you have earth energies, and that is the life aspirations that we all universally want. And there's 8 of them, and they align with what we all want: love, health, happiness, family, relationship, career. Career relates to what we like to do every day when we wake up. And then there's the man level. We are all a little different. And based upon when we were born, not only were the stars according to when our relationship with our house was born, when we specifically were born, we all came into this world with 4 good directions and 4 bad directions based upon the year and the energies that were existing at the time. Like, for example, the people that are born in 2015 are different than will have a different set of good directions and bad directions than people born in 2016, for example. So your personal success map is your natal energies that lay on top of each other, and this is what this map looks like. And like I said, you can build your whole house with it or decorate your house with it. And we're going to learn right now your best and worst directions, so you will know how to lay out furniture for pretty much your major stuff. Now, we're going to talk about yearly energies in a sec after we talk about personal, the personal directions. But you might want to move some of those, the major furniture, based upon what happens, what happens in the yearly energies. But we'll get to that. Do y'all understand that? I'm kind of giving you a preview of what's happening. But so far, so good? Back to the personal success map and your best direction. Everybody's going to figure it out for themselves. Everybody now has a flyer, right? And how are you at math? Okay, I don't want you to, first of all, this is the map that we're going to be using in a second, but I want to explain the math to you first, and we will do the math very slowly. Okay, and this is the concept. Part of your personal success map is heaven energy, man energy, which is what we're doing now, and earth energy. Everybody was born with 4 good directions and 4 bad directions. To sleep and to sit and receive the energy while you're working. So let's figure out what your good and bad directions are first, and then I'll tell you how to use it. Okay? Ready for math? Math and science. It all goes back to math and science. Take the last 2 digits of your birth year and add them together. Right now we're doing men and women at the same time, and I'm going to separate you in a second. So do the math together, boys and girls, everybody together. Add the last 2 digits of your birth year together. If it is over 10, which means it's 2 digits, right? Add those 2 digits together. So far, so good. Does everybody understand that? Everybody have a number in your head? Yeah. Yay. Ladies, add 5. If it's higher than 10, you add another, you add those two together. Does everybody have a single digit in their head for the ladies?
Yep.
Men, let's backtrack. You add the last two digits of your birth year together. If it's bigger than 10, you add the two together. 1 and 0 is 1. And subtract it from 10. So you have that number too. So before you ladies ask about your husbands, that's the math.
Okay, so that wasn't to do with us, that was just the male version of it.
Well,
Guys,
well,
that's
that's,
stuff.
yes. We might have some guys watching the video. Okay, I'm married, just kidding. Okay, I don't want to get in trouble for the camera. Okay, so now everybody has a single digit number, is that correct?
Correct.
Tina, what's your number?
5.
5. 5, you're an 8, trust me.
5.
Gladys,
Gail.
Gail.
5.
5, you're an 8, trust me. 8. 8. What else do we got? 6. 2. 4. Perfect. Are you looking at the chart? Did I tell you to look at the chart yet? Are you paying attention, Carol?
So did you add those two, the first one and the second one, or are you talking about the second one for the women?
No, we're just doing the women's number. Do we need to redo the math?
Yes.
Are we-
Oh, right.
I didn't get it.
Okay, add the last two digits of your birth year together.
Yeah.
If it is over 10, add those together.
I don't know what that means.
If it's a 1 and a 0, what's your number, Susan?
52.
Okay, 52. 5 and 2 is 7. So you're a 7 plus 5, add 5. 5 and 7 is 13.
Well.
12, thank you. Math and science. 12. 1 and 2 is 3.
Oh, okay.
Thank you
And
so
then you
much.
have 5.
What? We added the 5 already. Okay. Okay, fine. Everybody got their number? Excellent. Now, take one. Okay, so wherever your number is, find your number in the center square.
Okay, so if you're 5.
And it's one of the
here's 8.
colors. Exactly.
Okay,
And there's a reason for that, but I don't want to get into it now.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, did everybody find their square? Everybody's got their own square now, right? And if you'll notice, in each square there is a southeast and northeast and a so on. Got it? If you'll look, now the numbers, this is my system now, but it makes it real simple for you to learn your best and your worst directions. So, my system is, and it's so intuitive, if it's 1 through 4, it's your first best direction. Got it? 1 is your first best. 2 is your second best. Are you getting this? 3 is your third best. 4 is your fourth best. Why am I not seeing heads bobbing?
I get it now.
Okay, good. 5 is your first worst. Okay? In your little square, 5 is your first worst. 6 is your second worst. 7 is your third worst. 8 is your worst worst. Did you get it?
Mhm.
Okay. We'll do that. So what I'd like you to do is take a look at your chart. Which is your chart?
Right here.
Fine. 4th is your, southeast is your worst. Because it's 8. 1 is your best. Look at this chart here.
Okay.
Here's all the, this will probably be helpful, everybody. On this column is the good energies, and here's the bad energies. First best, second best, third best, fourth best, first worst. Got it?
Yeah.
Yay. So what do you do with this information? You go back and this is one part of your personal success map. You've got the heaven energies. I'm just kind of putting it all in perspective again for you. You've got your heaven energies, you've got your personal directions, and you've got the life aspirations. Love, happiness, wealth, and so on. And we can go over those if you want to in a little bit, but I want to get this really good first. So, if you have an office your chest should face and receive one of your best directions, right? So you're receiving the energy of one of your good directions. I want to tell you a story. When I was writing my first book, I didn't know this layer yet of Feng Shui, and I sat in my number 8 direction. My computer crashed, entire meltdown, at least 2 or 3 times a week. Because I was competing with the natural flow and the natural rhythms. Does everybody have their kitchen chair where they have their coffee? Your kitchen chair or your dining room chair should be facing one of your best directions. This is huge Feng Shui, everybody. Your head should be pointing one of your best directions. And there's different variables, and the different numbers 1 through 4 all mean different good things. And the 8 directions from 5 through 8 on my little chart mean bad things. But and different variables of bad. So what happens is my husband and I happen to be different. And he was sick for a pretty long time. Well, not sick for a long time, but long enough that I sleep, we prioritize his better direction to sleep in. And we focus it based upon the yearly energies too, which we're going to talk about in a second. So you're seeing how the information ultimately stacks. Uh-oh, we lost a Fibonacci. We're rolling. It's not a hoop. It's not a hoop, Tina. So ultimately, these energies stack on top of each other, and that's how you do a real Feng Shui analysis. I just want to share with you, I've done hundreds of Feng Shui consultations, maybe thousands, and one of my most interesting, they're all super interesting. I learn so much every time I do one. And I do them long distance also. I can read somebody's floor plan with this information that I'm sharing with you like an astrologer reads an astrology chart. And very often, one of the best parts of my consultations are if somebody has some kind of illness, I can usually find it in their reading, in their analysis. And what happens is I'll say, and this is my process. Somebody had stomach problems. It was your husband had stomach problems, and it peaked last year in February. How did I know that? I knew that because I read their personal success map. I read their yearly map, which we're going to talk about, the 15, for 2015. And then I read their monthly energies so I could identify specifically when there was a flare-up. This is what Feng Shui can do. So here's a really cool story. That I worked with best directions and all these other layers. I was working off a floor plan because it was a long distance. It was a long distance consultation. By the way, I've helped build houses in Mexico and Argentina and even as far away as Australia just on the phone. It's the coolest thing. But this house hadn't been built yet, and I was reading the floor plans. So I'm looking at the floor plans, I'm looking at the bedroom, and I'm going, it doesn't come out at me. I have to study it. And I go, something's going on here. Does your wife have chest problems? Does she have something going on in her chest? This is a phone consult. I'm just looking at his floor plan. House hasn't even broken ground yet. And he said, nothing. He was shocked. And she had breast cancer. So, of course, that's going to be a red flag on a house that they're starting to build. And we were able to make that adjustment. By the way, since we're doing this for the camera, and I've got a beautiful room full of ladies here, how many of you got your mammogram this year?
Thermography.
Or thermography, it doesn't matter. Please make sure you do that. It is the best lifesaver that there is. okay? Please make sure you get, in whichever method that you want to get checked, please get checked. Moving on. So, with that information, we were able to make modifications before the house was built to modify those energies so that thread was not there. This is the power of Feng Shui forecasting. When you start lining up these energies, you can actually not only look into the past and see when circumstance happened, you can fix potentials that are going to happen in the future. That's why it's so cool. Everybody cool about their best directions and their worst directions? We're going to have a question and answer after that, but what about quickies? Any questions? Because if you didn't understand something, I want to make sure you get it. Oh, everybody got it? Oh, good. Let's talk about yearly energies now.
I just have a question. Thank you. As far as like the direction where your head goes, when you're talking about that, my best direction is north. So when I go to bed at night, I want to put my head on the north side of the house?
That is an excellent question. And it's advanced. And we're going to do it. So even though I'm doing an advanced thing, if you don't understand it, don't worry about it. I think I'll be able to explain it so you will understand it, but hold it in your head. It's like learning a new thing, that there's stuff, these nuggets that you don't get, and hopefully you'll continue to learn, because we are talking about nurturing your sacred sanctuary here. That can mean the difference between good health and bad health, success and not success, good relationship, non-good relationship. So the value of this information that I'm sharing with you is so vital. So even if you don't get some of these nuggets that I'm sharing with you, hold it, because one day you'll get it. In Feng Shui, there's facing direction. I am receiving energy from this direction. And there's also house location. The north room, the south room. The ideal scenario, assuming that's all we were considering, was the one thing that you know. If you could sleep in the north room facing the north, that is your ideal situation with the information that you know the second. Brilliant question. Did I explain that well?
Yes.
Good. So there's and a little bit more advanced, there's macro and micro, location and direction. Direction is always direction, but if you couldn't sleep in the north room with the information that we know, and your bedroom, you could sleep in the north sector of your bedroom, assuming it was architecturally practical. That's how you layer this. And the more considerations that you have lining up in perfection, the better your Feng Shui is going to be. Thank you.
Thank you.
For that great question. And I just shared with you a solution that I would say 80% of the people who say they practice Feng Shui don't know. So that was an excellent question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yearly energies. So now we've got your personal success map, right? 2,000 personal success maps. Only one is exclusive to you in your home. Heaven energy, man, and the the earth energies. You know your best direction, so you know part of this now. Then the yearly energies. We're moving into 2015 at the new moon any minute now. And on my website, I also have these maps for everybody that can go online and get them. By the way, for those who did not sign my the email list, I'm going to send you a free information of the yearly energies, so you can go in and get that yourself. You won't get a chart like this. By the way, they're in color and much prettier, but I can read it in black and white, so I did it in black and white. So every year, the yearly energies change. And it's according to, remember when I talked about the flying stars, heaven energy? Heaven energy, the position of where everything is in heaven, is what positions these energies in your home and influences it. I'm going to give you a quick little nugget here. There are 9 energies, and they're varying from best of the best to worst of the worst. And those 9 energies are always, just like the stars are flying around in the heavens, they're moving around your house. So one year, your bedroom's going to be the best of the best and you're getting the best sex ever. Just kidding. I have to keep you up, right? And sometimes your office is going to be the best of the best and you can go to the beach and still make money. Where if it's the worst of the worst, you can do everything right. And it's like you're Sisyphus. You know, it's like nothing's working. So what are the, so 9 energies, right? So these are the energies for this year. And these are the nuggets that I'm going to give you that you can take home. Now, more than likely, if you think about the information that I'm giving you, you have a something or other at home that you can move into that area. Because when we're talking about Feng Shui remedies, it doesn't need to be an expensive thing. I happen to move my bed almost every year, depending on the facing direction of the year, in alignment, you with me, with the personal success map. You see how it's working? But these are just the yearly energies for 2015. The center has a great energy this year. It's called Bright Future. So relative to the center of your house, as well as your entire house, make sure there's no clutter. Wherever there's clutter, you could be influencing the good energies that are already, you're blocking the good energies that could be there. Because in your personal success map, there's good energies and bad energies, just like there's good personal directions and bad personal directions. So if you've got clutter, not only is it blocking your head, you know, that's the analogy that I like to make with it, because if in fact your head is so full of stuff, what do you get done? Nothing. And as soon as you start putting it on paper, you start like going, oh, I can do this first. So that's how Feng Shui, that's how clutter works. I don't believe clutter is Feng Shui. I think clutter is clutter and it's a whole other thing, but it's bad Feng Shui to have clutter. And I told you the reason. It's going to block the good energies and make the bad energies worse, period. So the center of your house, bright future, no clutter, have it illuminated, any light bulbs that are dirty, any light bulbs that need to be fixed, any stuff that you don't love that's in there, go ahead and get rid of it. That's a wonderful area for a water fountain this year. Water will stimulate the good energies. Now, I want to talk about water just for a second. Oh, if anybody knows anything about Feng Shui, you'll put a water fountain there. That is not true. Water is the most activating energy that there is. And if there is water and you still have it there and there's a bad energy, you're going to stimulate the bad energies. Water can be like our beautiful Venice beaches, right? Water can be like the cutting rock, like it cuts the Grand Canyon. So the power of water is pretty intense. So it's very, very important to consider where you're putting it. I want to remind you of something. I am giving you the energies for 2015. I do not know which one of the 2,000 maps is exclusively for you, so even though I'm giving you something, you have to be very careful not to overlay something on an energy that's not so good. So this is how it works. So if in fact you have really, really good energies in the center of your house and 2015 has bright future and you put the water there, you are then activating all that good juju. So you have to analyze the whole enchilada, the whole Fibonacci, the whole child's toy. Isn't this a great toy? Okay, So let's start moving around all the directions in your house now. And I just did a cheat sheet so I wouldn't forget them. In the north section, that's probably the best energy that there is for the year. It's all about promotions and great wealth and wonderful opportunity. It's also a great area to put the water element. You can put moving water there. But I want to tell you a little, yes, I don't want to tell you the story yet. I'll wait to the south to tell you a story. So that's an excellent area for money and wealth and good everything, spiritual growth, everything. Well, let's move around. I probably should have started at the east because that's where the sun rises. So I'm going to like jump to the east and then we'll continue around the circle. It just makes logical sense to me. The east is a really, really good sector again this year. Intelligence, inner knowledge, spiritual growth, learning potential. Like, what do you want to learn? You know, how are you going to take that information and apply it to all aspects of your life, whether it be mind, body, or spiritual? It happens to be the east, the sector of wood. So adding water to that, even a water fountain would be good this year, assuming you've got the rest of these energies going. The southeast, by the way, the east is usually the sector of, remember we talked here, I'm going to give you a lot, I'm going to multitask here. Remember I told you about the earth energies also, heaven, earth, and man. The energy of the east is family. I'm going to give you the flying stars for the year and the natal energies of earth. Did y'all get that? Oh gosh. Okay, I'm giving you, okay, the natal, and I'm going to do it in a different way, okay? The natal energies of the east are family. This year, the flying stars are promotions, knowledge, and so on, and a good area to put a water fountain this year. I'm going to break it down that way. Is that better? Okay. The southeast is also wood. It's the area of money. And interestingly enough, for this year, it's got broken and sickness in it. So if this were my house, this is the way I do consultations. If this were my house, what would I do? And it was my office, what would I do? If in fact the sector for the southeast natally is money and it's got sickness in there, what would I do? Tell me.
Move the furniture around?
Absolutely. I would consider moving the furniture around to make sure I'm facing a good direction, or move my computer to another room if in fact there is one. That's absolutely right. And this is why I'm always having success. Yeah, Christy.
Move the furniture to face a different direction?
Yes, you might want
space.
Yeah, you face a better direction. It depends on the facing direction. Remember we talked about the advanced stuff? Facing or location. But if I could move out of that room, if I could move out of that location, I would. There's two really bad energies, and that's one of them. So if that was your bedroom, for example, okay, and what I would do to reduce the energy, if I couldn't do anything else, I would put a metal wind chime or a metal chiming clock or something metal that makes noise, because that will reduce the energy. If it's your bedroom, you don't want a metal chiming clock, but you could the reducer is metal, and you could put gray sheets on the bed. I'm giving you all these layers in one, but I'm trying to snapshot it because I'm giving you the benefit of 30 years experience, so it's really hard to do it in an hour, and we're working toward the end of the hour now too, so I don't want to keep you up all night, even though I certainly could talk Feng Shui all night with you. I love it so much. Okay, moving on to the south. The south energy, the natal energy of that is fame and recognition. And this year happens to be cutting energy in there, arguing and bickering. So to reduce that energy, I would add a little fire to it. What does fire mean? Some red pillows, a candle, red candle. Don't leave a candle burning and burn it. Be conscious to burn it, but don't leave it unattended. We all know that. But I have to tell you another story about how Feng Shui can hurt you as much as it can help you. I remember doing a lecture very similar to this, and it happened to be Big Brothers, Big Sisters, you know, one of that organization. And I'm sharing all this information with this lady, and this lady got all excited about, oh, the South was a really good energy that year. I think it was a good energy that year. And she was so excited because she was going to move the bed and blah, 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 blah. And we found out during that dialogue, fire energy is all about the heart. All these areas that we're talking about relate to different areas of the body. Again, 30 years, I'm just giving you what I'm giving you as much as I can in the time that we have and trying to stay as organized as I can with the two objectives, giving you your best directions and giving you information for 2015. So this lady's all excited. She wants to move her bed because the South is really good energy. I found out that it's her husband's worth direction, and he has heart problems, and I happen to have my cheat sheets of all the 2000 charts. I looked at them, their area facing south in their natal energies was really bad. He had heart problems. It was in the worst, it was his worst direction. If in fact there was another layer coming on in the monthly energies, guy would have had a heart attack. This is how it works. So, you know, I invite you to be conscious. And on my website, there are maps like this that you can buy specific to you in your home, or there's little free ones there too. It's a little bit more complicated with the free ones because you kind of have to figure out some stuff for yourself, but the information is there. And I invite you to do that. Okay, so we've done the South. Let's move around to the Southwest now. Southwest is the energy, the natal energy of that is relationships, love relationships, intimacies. And this year it's wonderful. It's about bright, it's about future everything. So let's say it's your bedroom and you meet somebody new. Now would be a really good time. It's very, assuming you've got the rest all aligned here, this is a really good way to kindle wonderful long-term relationships. How do you enhance that? Is with a little fire. Be careful with fire. And my videographer there, you dirty dog, this information, you be very careful with this information that I'm giving you. He's smiling. And let me tell you a story about this fire energy. I remember doing a workshop like this at like Barnes & Noble one day. You know, I did the book tour and all that other stuff. And this girl goes, "Oh, I'm a fire person." A 9. See how the colors are in here for your best direction? That also indicates the your one of your 5 elements. So she's a 9, and she was a flaming redhead. And she was so excited that her bed was in the southwest section. And she goes, "Oh, I just put red sheets on my bed." And I looked right at her. I mean, you can get a lot of information with a little bit of knowledge, you know? And I said, "Yeah, and I bet you your bedroom is always cooking in there, but you don't evolve long-term relationships." She was fire, she had red hair, not purple hair, red hair, and she had, you know, all these other fire energies going on within the whole story. So she thought that was pretty interesting. Okay, so we've done the Southwest. Let's move around to the West. This is why I wanted you to have some notes here, and that way you could take them. This year, the West energy, which happens to be, what is West? Creativity.
Natal?
Yes, thank you so much. It's the West is creativity. We're all beyond childbearing years. It's also for birthing. So So use it for creativity because you're always birthing new information, new creativities. But this year, the West is the worst energy that there is. Again, if it's your office, don't be in it or face it if you can help. Face the West if you can help it. I mean, my office, my desk was facing the West. I just spun my desk around. And I happen to be a West person. West is my 4th best direction. I'm a 7. So West is my 4th best direction, but I'm certainly not about to face the West this year. Y'all see how this works? It's like once you get it, it's pretty simple. You just have to line up all the energies. How to reduce the West if you can't help it? What did I say? Oh, metal chiming sound. Metal chiming sound again. You know, what I like to do sometime, like on my phone, I have a little, like Tibetan bell. It's an app. It reminds me to breathe. Something I don't do that well. Oh yeah, take a second. So you can't, so it's the question of hearing the metal sound, which is cutting through that negative energy. We're at the Northwest here. The Northwest sector is a really important one. It's called helpful people. You know, people don't really think about this sector. You know, they always think about, oh, what's the love, you know, the love and relationship sector, the money sector, or the money sector. People, it's all about relationships. Who do you know? How can you help? How can you work together? How can you co-op? Really, really important. You want a date. Hey, Sally, I'm looking for a date. You know, it spans all sorts of relationships. It doesn't have to be professional. Hey, I need a new doctor. This area is a little bit questionable this year. It's not really that bad, but it's about, let me soften it here. Miscommunication.
That's the flying stars.
For 2015, yeah. Miscommunication, which could lead to arguing and bickering. So it's like, you know how one of the things that's so valuable, and the Northeast section will help you with it, it's meaning what you say and saying what you mean and having the clarity of the way you communicate it. That's the first step in helping you with the Northwest sector. And the second step is making sure that those you are communicating are understanding you in the way that you intended. That's just like a mind and a spiritual reference to the Feng Shui of it. But as far as strict Feng Shui goes, metal will reduce that. Metal, as we talked about before, can be the metal sound. If you're sleeping, it's something, and you're adding more gray, adding more, metal and so on. And on my website, there's lots of information and a whole list of metal objects, for example. We've already done the North, right? We're skipping through the North because we already did the North. And now let's do the last sector, the North. Not the last, because everything's a circle. Will the circle be unbroken, right? It's the circle of life, the way the heavens are always moving in a constant flux. Talking about heaven energy here, and the Feng Shui of it. The Northeast is a really sweet energy. I like to call it ease and graciousness. It's like the sector. It's like, you're not going to set the world on fire, but it's going to be kind to you and gentle with you. And the way you can enhance that area is with the earth element. What's earth? Ceramic pots. Maybe a collection of stone. I mean, I'm a wonderful I love collecting gemstones and rocks. So you can use beautiful gemstones there. Or what's other earth?
Plants.
Plants is wood, the wood element. We're not really using the wood element there for activating or reducing now, but plants are used for wood, and they will relate to decorating with them on your personal success map layer. What have we done today? We've talked about your best and your worst directions, and I've given you the energies for 2015. We're going to do a question and answer in a second, Christy. Thank you. I'd like to make just a few announcements just before we do the question and answers, and I really love the questions and answers because typically they're fascinating, and I really appreciate them. Few announcements. I do have some of my books for sale. Back there, they're like discounted 50%. I've got my first book, and my video was featured by Book of the Month Club, which I'm very, very proud of. And they are, one's on, one book there is on aromatherapy. I think I gave that one to Christy a long time ago. Also, my videos are there. There's business cards back there, including, I'm always at the Dearborn Market during season on Thursday, so I invite you to come by and get a free skincare demo where I will reduce your wrinkles in 5 minutes. By the way, I'm 58 years old. I'm talking to the camera now. So if you want to look like this at 58, come see me. And on my new business card out there, my mother, my mother is now famous. I put my mother on my new business card, and she's 83. And you can see how she looks, and she looks like really wonderful. So those are the announcements. I invite you to go take a card, and again, if you're interested in the books or videos and everything else, please remember to put your name on there so I can send you those links with the information of where you can get your free energies. Oh, one other thing I forgot, and then we'll do questions and answers. Your monthly energies change every month as well. Remember how I told you that there are 9 energies and they're always circling from the best of the best to the worst of the worst? I move 9 little items around my house every new moon. It takes me about 10 minutes to do it because now I've decorated. This is how Feng Shui works, everybody. I'm so glad I remembered. You decorate your house with your natal energies. With your yearly energies, you might do something bigger that's pertinent to what you want to accomplish or to protect you from something that could happen. You might move your bed. You might do, you might put a bigger move a bigger accessory. You might change the sheets on your bed. You might change the direction you're facing. Big stuff. And then monthly energies, I move little tabletop items every month. So here's the alignment. Remember I told you the story about how I could like pinpoint when this person had a flare-up of whatever body part? It's because of this. And this is the exact way that I can predict when somebody's going to have a love issue, a health issue, financial issue, and so on, because all of these line up. Now, the benefit of forecasting is if the energies are happening, you can't change the energies just the same way. If a hurricane's coming or you're going to have a thunderstorm, you cannot change that. But what you can do, you can be smart and bring an umbrella, right? So that's the concept of how Feng Shui can line up in order to protect you for something that's going to happen. And now, okay, let's do a quick question and answer, because to me it's like the funnest part. Yes, Miss Christie.
What is the flying stars for your Northeast?
The flying stars for the Northeast for 2000, ease and graciousness. And how you enhance that, is with the earth element.
Oh, I thought that was natal.
Yeah, I thought that was natal.
I am, okay, let's qualify that. The natal is self-cultivation.
Okay.
If you were Hindi, it would be your puja room. It would be your meditation room or meditation direction. Excellent. Thank you for reminding me. That was the Northeast. Self-cultivation, knowledge, sense of spirituality. If you were a student, that'd be a great place for you to hang out. If you have a child who's not doing well in school. However, don't just randomly put them in the Northeast area because I said so. You have to make sure that it's one of their better directions also, and that their flying stars are good. So it's like this, it's like Feng Shui is a holistic experience. What happens, and I like to use this analogy, what happens if you pull a muscle in your right foot? What happens? It affects the rest of the body. So it's like, that's how Feng Shui works. And for those of us who understand a little bit of astrology, by the way, I know enough to be dangerous about astrology, but I do understand that not only do you have the relationship of all the planets where they were when you were born and how they interconnect with each other to define your personalities, but you've got the transient stars too, and the transient planets. And that's exactly how Feng Shui works. You've got your natal house chart, same thing. You got your natal house chart, you got the yearly energies and the monthly energies, and guess what? What do you think?
Daily.
You got your daily energies too. I don't really work with the daily energies because it would make me crazy. That's the truth. However, if you were going to pinpoint something, like have a special date, you can align it. There's no doubt. I remember one day in our old house, my husband, our dryer blew up and his hands caught on fire. It was terrible. We aligned all the energies, and they were all, including the day, and it was all there. I'm never going to go, oh, you better not stick your hands in the fire because this is the daily energies and that's all going to, that would never happen. Our lives are too busy to even consider that. But certainly the monthly energy is easy enough to take a look at for 10 minutes every month.
How do you find it?
I have a free thing on my website. You can also get monthly charts that are a little bit more sophisticated. Those cost money because that's how I make a living, but it's also on there for free. It just requires a little bit more work. What other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
These numbers that you gave us all have colors, and you mentioned the girl with the red hair.
That's fire. The green is
what
wood.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The green is wood. The blue is water. The gray is metal. And what did I forget?
Yellow.
Earth. I knew I forgot one. And those are the 5 Chinese, those are the elements in everything Chinese medicine. When you go to an acupuncturist or a Chinese doctor, that's exactly what he uses. He uses the 5-element theory, and Feng Shui is the 5-element theory. It's the same stuff that Chinese doctors are made of.
That again? The 5?
Green is wood. And green is wood, red is fire, earth is yellow, gray is metal. What did I leave out? Blue is water. Yeah, Carol.
Is this the same as the 9-star, what is it?
9-star key.
Is that different?
Yes. 9-star key is more like personal astrology. Good question.
Okay.
Nine
Not
stars.
the same number.
The numbers have the same energies, and they have the same elements because everything's consistent. Everything in Chinese medicine is consistent.
Okay.
However, 9-star key is personal.
Okay, so.
This is personal,
Mhm.
relating to your, influenced by your environment.
Okay.
That's a really good way to explain that.
Okay.
And it's it's so important because if you're spending, however, first of all, hopefully you're getting 8 hours of sleep because that's what makes you stay young and beautiful and healthy and all of those other great things. So, but you're spending 8 hours a day, and 8 hours a day there. So your home, your bedroom is one of your biggest influences. The other thing is your desk. If you work out of your house, your desk is another one of your greatest influences, and there's 3 of them. The other one is your kitchen and your stove. 3 of the most important areas of your house. We're changing the tape.
When you talked about moving objects every month, are you talking about, are they the elemental ones, tabletop things, like are you looking at your fire and your wood?
Yes.
You're moving those to
Yes.
more advantageous
Yes.
spots in your house?
Perfect. perfect. And in addition to the elemental excellent question, by the way. Not only are they the elemental representation, there is symbolic representation too. For example, when I have the number, and these are all represented by numbers. I didn't get into numbers with you because it wasn't relevant. I just went into the energies. But the energy of arguing and bickering, we talked about that, meaning what you say, saying what you mean, and being clear about that, and make sure that you're understood so there's not arguing and bickering. My monthly treasure is a metal Ganesh. Ganesh is the god, the Hindi god of removing obstacles, and he is in metal. And I hand carried him back from India. So he's a real, so all these little, so when you're talking about these really precious symbols that you're moving around your house, to really have them be very, special to you, and the more significant they are to your heart, the more they will influence you. The more they're going to either cut the negative energies or enhance your energies. And you see how I layered it. Metal, Ganesh. Ganesh is symbolic of removing obstacles, removing arguing and bickering. So see how it all lines up. Everything is really calculated. Yes, Miss Suzanne.
What about mirrors and windows and doors in terms of the Feng Shui? Can you touch on that?
Mirrors, you have to be really, really careful with, because they are reflecting the stuff that is on the other wall. So you're duplicating. You know what, I'm going to tell a story as a close with that great thing. I remember, I think I was in Virginia, and I was doing consultations there, and it was so interesting because we had to reschedule the consultation 3 times for reasons that I don't know what just happened. So what is this moment in time that I'm standing there? First of all, her toilet, she had this mirror in her bathroom, this floor-length, laminated mirror on the wall, on her bathroom, and it reflected the toilet. So we didn't talk about toilets, but you're never going to have 2 toilets. Toilets is a place where you know what. We've already talked about the bad feng shui in this location since we can't pee at the moment since the toilets are broken. See, everything's holistic. So you certainly don't want 2 toilets, because toilets are not good feng shui. You always leave your bathrooms, your bathroom doors closed. You don't want any of that good energy to go down the toilet. Nobody mentioned toilets, but I'll just assume you did. So here we've got these two toilets here. She had to take a call, and I'm looking at her feng shui, and all of a sudden her ceiling is like, this happens. When I do a feng shui consultation, I shift energy. So if the energy was bad to begin with, it's going to make it worse, which in a way that's good. Sometimes things get worse before they get better. Before you find Mr. Right, you have to get rid of the other guy, right? They have to get worse, so things happen like that. So I'm sitting there, she's on the phone, I'm seeing the ceiling like doing this bulgy thing, and I'm going, what is going on here? Okay, she's on the phone. Okay, I'll look around. I'll see what else I can tell her. When she gets off the phone, I look at the ceiling. And the ceiling is now getting big. This bulgy thing is getting bigger and bigger. So finally, I find her, and I'm going, you have a problem here. By the time we got down in Virginia with the snow on the crevice and whatever, the whole ceiling collapsed. I've ghost busted. I felt ghost energy. I ghost busted. We move things. I've even gotten rid of a voodoo curse before. And whenever I do a consultation, I never know what's going to happen. Usually they're pretty tame, but stuff is real weird stuff has happened. Because I'm messing with, we're not messing with. We're working with the intimate energies that are in your home that are influencing you every day. unless you guys have a great question, now I'm putting you on the spot, it feels like a really, really good time to close. What I want to tell you is that this aspect of Chinese medicine is so profound because you're living there. You know, this is your sacred space. This is where you do everything. This is the source. Your body is your temple. You take care of that. You need to really augment and take care of your home too. So I'd like to close with my favorite Chinese proverb because it's so beautiful. I always kind of get choked up a little bit. When there's order in the house, there's order in the nation. And when there's order in the nation, there's peace in the world. Maybe I live in a utopian world, but when there's peace within me, then I can love you with that same energy. And that's how I think the world can be a better place. I am so grateful that you came. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.